Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you to the whole church and Steve and everybody here that helps run the church for making this possible and for welcoming our family this year. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. And some of you I've known almost a good chunk of my life, and I'm grateful for that. So it's a very good time. No, not to get too sappy, but you know. So what's martial arts doing in a church? One thing I've often told my son is, God's there no matter what you're doing. So you can bring it into the church or out of the church, but God leaves the church too. So He's always there. So whether you're in the church or not, Jesus is always present. This is my son, Brian. His karate name is Rev. He revs out a lot. I approached Pastor Steve and some of the folks about starting to do some ethical karate seminars here at the church. And to my surprise, my prayers were answered. Something I've always wanted to do. And Pastor Steve suggested maybe put your credentials to it. It's not something I feel comfortable doing. But I thought a lot about the conversation we had, and this was very impromptu. I was talking to Kenny, said maybe do a demonstration today to promote what you're doing this Saturday. So this we didn't plan for. This was, I just put your gi in the car and let's go.
I don't even know what I'm doing yet.
I believe Christian principles founded with karate and the right mindset go hand in hand. More on that some other time. This is more of a demonstration. I'm not going to use this for that kind of a moment. But some quick credentials. I've been involved in martial arts, various different forms of it for about 30 years. And I've done a lot of competitions. And whether you say that martial arts is a sport or an art or a philosophy, I think it's all three. My son, Brian, has been in it for about 9 years. He's taken Taekwondo, Aikido, a little bit of Jiu-Jitsu, and he's Shotokan is the main one. He's competed nationally. He's been invited to participate in the United States Olympics. He's taken national and state titles. I don't like to boast, I really don't, but for what it's worth, we're doing some seminars this Saturday. We're starting our first group of seminars, and so I just wanted to give you a little bit of background as to who we are and a little bit about where we come from. So I don't want to get too much further into that, but without further ado, I figured I'd ask my son to come up here and maybe he could demonstrate for you the martial arts kata. A kata is a form that they teach you in martial arts to perfect certain techniques, repeated patterns. So in other words, a block and a strike, and you do it over and over and over again from the perspective that repetition builds habit. And the best time to have a good habit, if you are in a situation, is when you can just react naturally without thinking much of it. And these katas are there to reinforce that. So, you ready for your surprise kata? Alright, come on over. When you bow in Japanese, a lot of martial arts schools, if you ever been, they tell you bow with your eyes open. The Karate Kid, Bruce Lee, eyes open. That's not how you bow. The bow in Japan, it's closed eyes, it means I trust you. Open eyes means I don't trust you. And that's the proper way to bow in Japan. So that's how we bow, very traditional. Yoi? Step over here, I'm going to give you one. Kata. Empty? Empty. Kata. Come here. He's very controlled. Relax.
sometimes the front row is not exactly where you want to be.
How about hit? And he's got a remarkable sense of control. He's okay. Boss I died. Nada.
Must I die?
Watch the, yeah.
She's scared of them.
Watch me. Today, martial arts has very much become glorified in kind of promoting violence and UFC and MMA. Not that I don't like watching it, as Ken will tell you, it's almost always on my TV, but I don't appreciate the glorification of violence. I do not believe that the study of martial arts is about that. It's about a lot of control. It's about pushing the envelope with your partner. One last final demonstration. Want to do a quick bunkai? 1 minute? We'll do a quick bunkai. Bunkai is application. You may be wondering, why would you see somebody doing all these maneuvers over and over? What's the point behind that? You break down, and you see how he's out of breath. It's incredible exercise. Learning and doing kata every day it's like running 10 miles in 5 minutes, right? Bunkai is demonstrating a potential application for what a kata could do. So as part of the demonstration, I'm going to injure my son. So, part of the last kata he did, Basai Dai, there's a maneuver, this to this to this. Okay, so it's a potential block and a potential strike. I always like to finish a bunkai with the perspective of a lock, if you will, or a submission. And I will explain why in 1 second. So that's our bunkai. Ready for that? Right? This. Hey. Yeah, let's do the bunkai first. This first. This. Ready? Hey. Hey. Dance! Now. I noticed you attacked me, sir. Potentially, you need money or food. Is that correct? Or I told you to do it. There are 2 options, sir. When I release you, you can come at me again, and I will probably end up dislocating your shoulder. It will take months to heal. Option 2, you can allow me to treat you to a lunch, and we can discuss your life, and I can maybe even set you up with a hotel room. Option B or option A? What do you think, sir?
I'll go with B.
Now we're going to let go. We're going to stand up, and you're not seriously hurt right now, are you?
No, I'm
Just
not.
very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Now, as I let go, we're going to go grab some lunch, right?
Yes, we are.
Let's do that, sir. I was in Maryland on a business trip. Not exactly like that, but something very similar. And it went to submission. And I took this poor hungry guy out for lunch. And we talked about a whole plethora of things. His life, so we had 3 hours. I hooked him up with a hotel room and some food. And you just never know, potentially that saved his life. Maybe his soul. Who knows? But the point is, by studying that, not only did I protect myself, but potentially knew enough to go to submission without injuring somebody who's also a fellow son of God. And that's how I view martial arts.
I have a surprise for everyone. I recently bought this new violin of mine about 3 weeks ago
Guys,
with the help of the Harveys. And I got a good price on the violin and I bought it myself.